Keep them away from sunlight, don't get them wet, and definitely don't feed them after midnight. In 1984, Gremlins broke all the rules and became a pop culture legend. With its wild mix of horror, comedy, and unforgettable creatures, the movie left a mark on Hollywood. The sequel got even crazier, and then the franchise kinda just vanished. Why? Was it studio drama, creative clashes, or changing times? Today, we dig into the chaos, the behind-the-scenes battles, and the long road to a comeback. This is the real story of Gremlins, how a holiday monster movie changed the game, disappeared, and might just rise again. The original movie and sequel. Gremlins is an American black comedy horror film directed by Joe Dante and written by Chris Columbus. The film stars Zach Galligan as Billy Peltzer, Phoebe Cates as Kate, and the voice of Howie Mandel as Gizmo. Billy receives a Mogwai, a small furry creature, as a Christmas gift from his father, Randall Peltzer, an inventor. The Mogwai comes with 3 strict rules: keep it out of bright light, don't get it wet, and never feed it after midnight. When these rules are broken, the Mogwai spawns more creatures which transform into violent, destructive gremlins. Set in the fictional town of Kingston Falls, the story follows the chaos unleashed as the Gremlins terrorize the community. The film is known for its blend of horror, comedy, and Christmas themes. Notable scenes include the Gremlins' attack on a local bar, their takeover of a movie theater, and the infamous kitchen battle where Billy's mother fights off the creatures using household appliances. The film's tone is subversive, mixing slapstick humor with sudden violence and dark moments, such as Kate's story about her father's death. Gremlins was produced by Steven Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment and released by Warner Bros. It was a commercial success, grossing over $212 million worldwide on an $11 million budget. The film received positive reviews for its inventive premise, practical effects, and satirical edge. However, its violence and dark humor sparked controversy, contributing to the creation of the PG-13 rating by the MPAA. Now, let's look at Gremlins 2, The New Batch from 1990, which is the sequel, again directed by Joe Dante. The story relocates Billy and Kate to New York City, where they work in the Clamp Center, a high-tech skyscraper owned by Daniel Clamp. Gizmo was captured and subjected to genetic experiments, resulting in a new outbreak of gremlins with bizarre mutations, including a brainy gremlin, a bat gremlin, and a spider gremlin. The sequel abandons the small-town setting for a satirical, self-referential tone. It parodies the original film, corporate culture, and media, breaking the fourth wall and embracing cartoonish chaos. The film features cameos, pop culture references, and more elaborate special effects. While critics praised its creativity, humor, and willingness to poke fun at itself, Gremlins 2 underperformed at the box office, earning $41 million against a $50 million budget. Despite its initial commercial disappointment, the sequel has gained a cult following for its inventive style, meta-humor, and its bold departure from the original's tone. Both films are recognized for their practical puppetry, animatronics, and memorable creature designs. The original Gremlins remains a staple of 1980s cinema and holiday movie marathons, while the sequel is celebrated for its anarchic spirit and postmodern approach to sequels. Years of sequel rumors and rights issues. Gremlins 3 has been one of the most talked about sequels in Hollywood for years. But why has it taken so long for Gremlins 3 to get made? Let's break down the full story, from years of rumors to the complicated rights issues, and Chris Columbus's big role in the delays. First, let's go back to the beginning. The original Gremlins came out in 1984 and became an instant classic. The sequel, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, followed in 1990. Ever since, fans have been asking for a third movie, but every time the rumor mill started up, nothing ever seemed to come from it. One of the biggest reasons for the delay was the rights situation. For years, the rights to Gremlins were split between Warner Bros. And Amblin Entertainment, Steven Spielberg's company. This meant that any new movie needed both companies to agree on everything, and as you can imagine, that made things complicated. Nobody could just say, let's make Gremlins 3 and get started. Instead, every idea had to go through a lot of legal and business discussions. According to some sources, this split ownership was a huge roadblock. Things finally started to change in 2019. That's when Warner Bros. Managed to secure the full rights to the Gremlins franchise. This was a big turning point. Now, they could move forward without having to get Amblin's approval for every detail. It seemed like Gremlins 3 was finally gonna happen. But even with the rights sorted out, there was another big hurdle: Chris Columbus. He wrote the original Gremlins script and has always been very protective of the franchise. Columbus has made it clear that he doesn't want a reboot. He's blocked any Gremlins project that didn't fit his vision. He wants a true sequel, not a remake or a reimagining. He even wrote a script for Gremlins 3 back in 2017. According to interviews and articles from the Popverse, Columbus's script is darker and more serious. One of the main ideas? Should Gizmo, the lovable Mogwai, be killed to prevent more gremlins from causing chaos in the future? It's a bold question that adds a new layer to the story. Columbus is also a big fan of practical effects. He wants Gremlins 3 to use puppets just like the original movies. He's not interested in using CGI for the creatures, and he believes the puppets give the gremlins their unique charm and personality. As for the cast, Zach Galligan, who played Billy in the first two movies, is ready to return. Phoebe Cates and Howie Mandel, the voice of Gizmo, might also come back. Columbus has said he wants to mix old and new characters, kind of like what Star Wars did in The Force Awakens. Despite all these developments, Gremlins 3 still hasn't started filming. There's no official production date, and there's no release date either. Even with the rights issue solved and a script in hand, the movie is still stuck in what Hollywood calls development hell. If things finally move forward, the earliest we might see Gremlins 3 is probably mid-2026 or even later. So, why is Gremlins 3 taking so long? It's a mix of split rights, creative control, and a desire to do things the right way. Warner Bros. Now has the rights, Chris Columbus has a script. The fans, however, are still waiting. For now, Gremlins 3 is closer than it's ever been, but until there's an official announcement, all we can do is hope and keep waiting. Animated series revival. Gremlins is back, but this time it's an animated adventure. The show is called Gremlins: Secrets of the Mogwai. It dropped in 2023 on Max, and this series takes us way back to 1920s Shanghai. We meet the Wing family and a young Mogwai named Gizmo. The main character is 10-year-old Sam Wing. If you remember the old movies, Sam grows up to be the shopkeeper in the first Gremlins film. Sam's got a big job. He has to take Gizmo home, using clues from his grandfather's journal. He's not alone either. A teenage street thief named Elle joins Sam and Gizmo on their journey. Their adventure takes them across the Chinese countryside where they run into all kinds of trouble. There are monsters and spirits from Chinese folklore, some friendly, some not so much. The group faces off against a villain named Riley Green, who's a greedy industrialist who wants to use the gremlins for his own gain. He even builds an army of evil gremlins to chase after Sam and Gizmo. Each episode is packed with action and cliffhangers. Sam, Elle, and Gizmo all learn and grow as they travel. Their goal? Reach the Jade Valley, the home of the Mogwai. Along the way, they battle scary gremlins, meet hopping zombies, and see all sorts of magical creatures. The animation style is really cool and unique. It mixes classic Chinese art with modern animation. Evil gremlins look sharp and wild, while good Mogwai are soft, cute, and furry. The monsters and spirits each have their own style. Some scenes look almost like stop motion with rich colors and lots of detail. The music is a treat too. Composer Sherry Chung reworks the classic Gremlins theme with Chinese instruments. It feels fresh but keeps the old school vibe. The voice cast is stacked. James Hong brings magic to his role. Isaac Wang plays Sam with a sense of wonder. Gabrielle Nevea is great as Elle. You'll also hear voices from Ming-Na Wen, B.D. Wong, Sandra Oh, Randall Park, George Takei, and more. Critics and fans both love the show. They say it's fun, heartfelt, and full of surprises. Adults enjoy the nods to the original movies, and kids get swept up in the adventure. Because the show was such a hit, it's been renewed for a second season. That means more wild adventures are coming for Sam, Gizmo, and Elle. Gremlins: Secrets of the Mogwai has brought the franchise back to life. It's a fresh start, packed with action, magic, and heart. Old fans and new viewers are all in for the ride, and if you love Gremlins or just want a fun adventure, this might be the show for you. Gremlins 3 Official Development. Gremlins 3 has been talked about for many years. Fans have waited a long time for news about the sequel. There have been many rumors, but now there are some official updates as well. Warner Bros. Has confirmed that Gremlins 3 is still in development, but the movie isn't finished and doesn't have a release date yet. Some sources say the film could come out in 2025 or 2026, but nothing is certain. Chris Columbus, who wrote the first Gremlins movie, is writing the script for Gremlins 3, and he started working on it in 2017. There are rumors that old characters like Billy Peltzer, played by Zach Galligan, and Kate, played by Phoebe Cates, might return. The voice of Gizmo, Howie Mandel, might also come back. However, there's still no official cast list or director announced. Even though there have been many rumors and delays, Warner Bros. Says Gremlins 3 is still being worked on. The project has been in development for more than 8 years. For now, though, fans will have to wait for more updates, but the studio and Chris Columbus are still planning to bring the Gremlins back to the big screen. Why the franchise was stalled. The Gremlins franchise was stalled for decades due to a mix of legal, creative, and business problems. The rights were split between Warner Bros. And Amblin Entertainment, as we already mentioned. Creative disagreements were another big reason for the delays. Chris Columbus, the original writer, wanted any new movie to be a true sequel, not a reboot. He and others involved cared deeply about keeping the original's tone, a strange mix of horror, comedy, and holiday magic. As director Joe Dante said, Gremlins blended horror, science fiction, slapstick, satire, family drama, and holiday nostalgia into a blender and pushed the puree button. The result was a movie that was kind of dark and funny and scary and Christmassy. It's like everything. It's like 4 different genres at once, said Howie Mandel, the voice of Gizmo. This unique style made it hard to agree on a direction for sequels, and Columbus blocked some reboot attempts to protect the spirit of the original. Studio priorities also shifted. After the first film's huge success, the sequel in 1990 didn't do as well at the box office. Warner Bros. Became cautious about investing in another Gremlins film, especially as they focused on other big franchises. Some at the studio never really understood the appeal of Gremlins, even during the original's production, calling it Spielberg's folly and admitting, "We were just the little thing that nobody quite understood what it was." To test if people still cared about Gremlins, Warner Bros. Launched the animated series Gremlins: Secrets of the Mogwai in 2023. The show was well received, drawing in both longtime fans and new viewers. Its success showed the studio that the franchise still had appeal and helped renew momentum for Gremlins. In short, complicated rights, creative clashes, and changing studio goals kept Gremlins on the shelf for years. The animated series finally proved the Gremlins' mischief still had an audience, helping to bring the franchise back to life.
We want to be civilized. I mean, you take a look at this fellow here.
Will Gremlins 3 confront the hard truth? For decades, Gremlins fans have watched the chaos unfold with adorable Gizmo at the center, innocent but always one mistake away from disaster. Every time water spills, every time midnight snacks are snuck, the world teeters on the edge of another outbreak, and yet no one ever asks the hardest question. Is it right to let Gizmo live, knowing what could happen? In Gremlins 3, that question finally takes center stage. It's not about blaming Gizmo, he's not the villain. The real issue is us, the humans. Can we be trusted with something so rare, so dangerous, and so innocent? Or are we just looking for an easy way out, a clean solution to a messy problem? The story isn't about finding closure by ending Gizmo's life, it's about facing the uncomfortable truth. Maybe the real monster isn't the creature inside the box, but the person holding it. Gremlins 3 doesn't dodge the dilemma. It asks us to look in the mirror and decide what kind of responsibility we're going to take and what it really means to do the right thing. If Mogwai were real, the science behind their 3 rules. They warned us, never expose a Mogwai to bright light, never get it wet, and never ever feed it after midnight. But where did these rules come from and what do they really mean? Long before Gremlins hit the screen, stories of mischievous creatures sabotaging aircraft haunted the British Royal Air Force. Roald Dahl spun them into folklore, but the Mogwai, these strange, wide-eyed beings, have even deeper roots tangled in Chinese myth. In those tales, Mogwai were demons, multiplying with the rain and always lurking at the edges of human life. The first rule, no bright light. In the movie, sunlight is fatal. It's not just a plot device, it hints at a creature evolved for darkness, maybe in the forest undergrowth or the safety of deep caves. Like salamanders that hide from the sun, Mogwai are built for shadow. Their cells might be so sensitive to ultraviolet rays that even a flash of sunlight spells death. Then there's water. One drop and a Mogwai multiplies instant offspring, no mate required. It's wild, but not unheard of. In nature, some creatures breed explosively when the rains come, taking advantage of sudden abundance. For the Mogwai, water is a trigger, a survival tactic to multiply when the world is wet and food is plentiful. But the third rule is the strangest. Never feed them after midnight. I mean, what does that even mean? Midnight is a human invention, not a law of nature. But maybe, for the Mogwai, eating at night triggers something deep, a metabolic shift, a reawakening of their wild feral side. It's less about the clock and more about cycles, instincts, and the thin line between tame and untamed. These rules aren't just for suspense, they're a window into the Mogwai's world, a world shaped by evolution, myth, and the boundaries we draw between order and chaos. Maybe in the end, the Mogwai aren't the monsters at all. They're just following the rules nature and humans set for them.
Fine dining.
The Future of Gremlins. Guess what? Gremlins is back in a big way. The animated series, Secrets of the Mogwai, is still going strong. It's set in the past, showing how Gizmo and Sam Wing first met. Fans love the show's mix of old-school Gremlins chaos and new characters. Reviews on YouTube and fan forums praise its animation, humor, and heart. Kids are discovering Gremlins for the first time, while longtime fans enjoy all the nods to the original movies. The series' second season, The Wild Batch, takes the story to new places like San Francisco. It introduces more Mogwai and creative gremlin mischief. The show's success proves that there's still a big audience for Gremlins young and old. Meanwhile, Gremlins 3 is finally moving forward. Chris Columbus, who wrote the first film, is back as the writer. YouTube interviews with Galligan confirm the movie is a true sequel and not a reboot. Warner Bros. Wants to get it right. They're watching how the animated series performs and listening to fan feedback online. The studio knows Gremlins has a unique mix of horror, comedy, and nostalgia. They want the new movie to appeal to both loyal fans and new generations. In short, Gremlins is alive and well. The animated show is a hit, and a new movie is on the way. Whether you grew up with Gizmo or are meeting him for the first time, there's never been a better time to join the mayhem. Marvelous verdict! The Gremlins are multiplying again. The animated series gave fans an inviting, eerie origin tale in 1920s Shanghai. Critics praised its mix of charm, folklore, horror, and humor. Meanwhile, Warner Bros. Greenlit Gremlins 3 with Chris Columbus writing. The tone is darker, the effects are old school, and nostalgia meets new storytelling. After years of silence, the franchise is waking up. Whether you loved the 80s films or are meeting Gizmo now, this is the calm before another midnight feeding, and it's gonna be worth the wait. That's all we got for you this time, but don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to us if you want to see more marvelous content coming your way. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.